So, hello everyone, good morning, and welcome to the new season of the DigiPrint Supplies or the DigiPrint University Season 2. It's the first webinar of the new series. It's also the first webinar of this year. And for this season, we created a team. And the team of this year is how to revive an old printer. Now, the idea is we went out last month and purchased a printer in bad condition generally. So some things still function, others don't function at all anymore. And the idea is to have, in a series of 6 sessions, at the end of it, to have a working printer again. So for the people that join these DigiPrint Supplies webinars for the first time, there's a chat window on your left hand side normally. That will be opened at the end of the session, so you can ask your questions and we will answer them, of course. And every recording can be viewed again on our YouTube channel after the webinar, usually the day after, because we need to do some editing before we upload it. And we use YouTube now also as well to stream our videos because we have a better quality, and you will notice in the biggest window where the video will play that you can change the quality there of the video. If you want to have a higher resolution with more detail, you can set it at that setting, or if you have a slow connection, maybe you need to go down one setting and opt for a less optimal quality of the video. Okay, so I'm gonna switch cameras. Just a second. Yeah, and then we can have a look at what we have found.
Okay, so let's have a look. So this is the printer that we will be using during the 6 sessions of the DigiPrint University Season 2. It's a Mimaki GV3 250 SB, so 2.5 meters wide printer. Fairly old. Cosmetically, it's not in top state. It's not Miss America anymore. But we are most interested in the technical aspects of this printer. Is it still functioning as it should be? Can we make this can we turn this back into a fully functional, productive printer? And the cosmetic, that's something that we can take care of later by just cleaning it up. Okay? So let's start with booting the printer. I connected the 2 power cables. I switched the printer on in the back. I just need to switch it on in the front. So I'll move the camera up to the key panel and LCD display so that we can see what's happening if we switch it on. Just a second. Clumsy. Right. Go down a little with the camera. And maybe zoom in. There on the LCD panel. So let's switch it on. It says boot on the LCD panel. That's already good. It didn't explode. It's showing me the firmware version 5.2. I can hear the blowers. I can see some movement in the carriage, and it's asking me to confirm whether I have roll media on here or a sheet. So I have roll media on there. So I have movement in the carriage. See, there it goes. So it's going to try to find the edges of the media. It found the right edge. Now it's looking for the left edge, and it found that too. So it's going to go back home and confirm the media. 1.3 meters, which is correct. All right, it does say that we only have 4 of the 8 cartridges installed. So normally you have double magenta and black on the left side of the printer, and on the right side you have double cyan and yellow. Okay, So let's see if we can look at the maintenance station. Go down a little. There's our carriage. Let's open up the printer. It's bypassed. So that's our carriage. Let's go to function, maintenance, enter, station, enter, carriage out, enter. There it goes. There are my cap tops. There comes my wiper. So let's have a look. Oh, that's a very new wiper. Hardly ever used. Not deformed, no cracks, no nothing. It's not even dirty, I think. They replaced the wiper not so long ago. But what's also interesting is the cap tops. So let me take a glove and try to get my hand in. Right, let's feel these. So the springs are working and the rubbers are not hard and dried out. They're quite flexible, but as you can see on my fingers, no ink whatsoever, and that's not the best sign. If your cap tops are completely dry, then you can already make the conclusion that you probably will have some sort of ink delivery problem with dried out heads, dried out dampers, and dried out ink lines. So that's gonna require a lot of revision, a lot of cleaning, and possibly replacing. All right. So we're done. The carriage can come back. Let's see if we see something on the dampers. I can hear the pump motor, but we're gonna run some tests on pumps and pump motors when we go into maintenance mode. Okay, the heads are capped now. Let's see if I can get any closer to here. So here there's a piece of tube. Let's see if I can get a better angle at it. Yeah, and I don't know if you see this. Can I zoom in even a little bit more? But you can see black dried ink in that tube, confirming that the heads are dry, that the dampers are dried and blocked. So that's gonna require quite some attention. All right. So what I would suggest now is that we actually boot the printer into service mode, maintenance mode. It's a Mimaki. And run some tests. So let's switch it off and then hold function and remote and switch it on until we hear a beep. Alright, we'll go. And now we should be able to go into the maintenance menu and run several tests. Of course, I'm going to have to confirm that we have roll media, detecting the media again. Found the right edge, and he passed the left edge. Now he's going to look for the left edge. Oh, he found something, and that's it. 1.361 meters for the media. All right. So let's go into function, then test menu, enter. So since our heads are completely dry and there's no ink going to the heads, we can't do any of the check patterns. I'm going to zoom out a little, like this, and I have here page 5.2 of the Mimaki maintenance manual or service manual, and these are all the tests that are available to us. So check pattern, parameter draw, and all pattern require my head to print. So I can't do these yet. I will first have my printer in a working state before I can do those tests and see if the heads are functioning correctly and then I can do alignment and stuff like that. So the first one that we can do is the X servo, which is movement, which we already kind of know that works because it's scanned for the media. So let's do that. Enter. Let's confirm parameters. And X is of course with Mamaki the feed motor. Let's see if you can see that. The media is moving. Alright, put it back. So that means that our feed motor, our X servo, is in good working condition. Just going to do that again. And go back, go back. It's not voice controlled. Okay. Right, that's enough. So we'll do the same for the Y motor. So let's go one down, Y motor, or Y servo, enter, confirm the parameters like speed and width, and we can see that we have a good functioning scan motor or Y motor. Yeah, I'm just looking at the belt to see if I see anything funny going on. I can see a little bit of wear and tear on the belt, but it's fine. So let's end it. And then the next test that we can do is X and Y at the same time, which is like simulating printing on the printer. So your carriage moving from left to right, and at the same time your media will be forwarded. So let's go down one, XY servo test, enter. So we need to confirm some parameters, like the speed and the width in which the carriage may travel. And now I have both movements functioning perfectly. There's something that I notice on my media. Don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I zoom in. You see that black stripe? So one of the rollers is dirty. Okay. Let's end this test. You can see it here. So that comes off one of the rollers. Let's see if it's really the roller that is dirty or something else. Yeah. Got some black on my glove there. So it's really the roller that is dirty. Not to worry. Okay. Put this straight. And up. So the next one on our list is a heater test. Here, heater test. Now my heater is not on yet. Let's show that. And the control panel for the heater is there. Let's switch it on. And then enter on the keyboard. Gonna be moving around a bit. So enter, and you can see here, or maybe not, maybe if you zoom, Philip. So you can see that both are off. So I'm gonna set temperatures. The pre, I don't care about the pre, no, not 60 degrees. Yeah, and I'm gonna put this one at a higher temperature, like 33 degrees, like this. So let's see. Zoom out a little. So I've got now the preheater, that's at a constant temperature of 20 degrees, and this one is heating up to 32 degrees, and once it's 33 degrees I can feel the platen to see if it actually has 33 degrees. So the temperature is rising. Focus. It's now 24 degrees, and once it has reached the operating temperature, that orange light will switch to the green constant light, and I can see whether the heaters are actually heating or not. So this will take a little while. We're up to 28 degrees now, so I should be able to feel that already. Yeah, I do. Yeah, so that's working. So no problem with our heaters. Gonna let it heat until it goes to constant. We're up to 30 degrees now. (31), it's going to constant, and then continue heating until 33. All right. And we're there. Yep. That feels like sunny Ibiza. That's 33 degrees. All right, that done. So let's go to the next step. I'm going to switch these off, the heaters. The next one we have is an action test, which will test the wiper. It will test the cutter and the winding motor. So action test, enter, fan motor low, mid, you can hear the noise, and high, and off. Okay, Y cutter up, down. Let's see if we can see that. So up, down, that's functioning. Enter, roll motor off, on, that's not functioning. Enter, drying fan. So drying fans are here. Zoom out. So here, and I can feel them blowing. They're set too high. Yeah. Low. And then we're back at fan motor. So that's the action test. Everything worked there except for the roll motor. Sensor tests. Okay, set lever on and off. On. Let's see. So you know what I'm doing. Oh, there it is. So now the display goes to off. Now it goes to on. So that sensor is working. Okay. Oh, pressed the wrong button. Sorry about that. Scanning the media again. And coming back to find the left edge. And then showing me the size of the media, and then I can go back into my test menu. Back to my sensor test. Paper Y origin on. Wiper on. Yeah, front cover. And then ink packs, heater, roll up. Yeah, that's good. Each time I want to end these tests, he's going back to initializing. But that might be a bug in the software. I need to look that up. No worries. Okay. Detecting the media again. And then telling me how much it is. Right. Function. Let's see if we, enter. If we can do the paper sensor. That's good. The keyboard, okay. So confirming all heater, test, clear, function, remote, and enter. Okay. And let's go back to the next one, which is the LCD test. Enter. So now it's going to display some patterns on the LCD. There you can see them. And you can visually inspect if all the dots on the LCD are working. Well, seems to be. Let's end it. Pump motor. Let's do that. So we have two pumps in here. It's a 4-head machine, 4 DX4 heads in there. And one pump does the first 2 heads. Left. Okay. Direction forward. Step count. Passes and then that's working. And then we'll try the other one. Same parameters. And that's working as well. So that means that both the pumps itself as the pump motor is working. Alright. And we'll go up to the next test. And the next test is the timer check. Yeah, okay. So it's not really set. See, we are 2017. Okay, we are January. Let's see. Oh yeah, and we are 26th. Okay, enter and end. Memory check. SD RAM. Wait time, no, nothing. Count 1, yeah. Okay. Okay. And we seem to be blocked here. So that's not the best sign. Start that again. Have a look. Yeah, roll media. That was a good deal. Okay, bit of the printer. Okay, finding the left edge. There he goes. And he found the media. Okay. And now he thinks all cartridges are there. That's just an error. So test, enter. Let's go back to the memory test because I want to see what is going on here. Enter. Start with your ROM. That's good. Okay. And if we end it, we're back to initializing, but that's normal in a memory check. So the ROM is okay, so that means that the motherboard is okay as well. I'm going to enter a count. Enter a count for the SD-RAM. Okay, function. Timer, memory check, enter SD-RAM, enter, on, enter. And now it should start counting, but it doesn't. Or maybe I'm not patient enough. So I need to figure out if there is something wrong with the SD-RAM on the motherboard. Let's give it some time. But this is not the expected result. So let's reboot. We're nearly there. I want to test the temperature around the head, and I want to test the encoder strip as well. I should know by now that it's 1.3 meters wide. Scanned it so many times. Okay. Function, test menu, enter, and we're going to go to the temp check. There we go. And it says 23 degrees. That's good. And then I want to have the encoders checked over the let's first start with only testing the width of our media, more or less. Okay. Enter. So now it's gonna move. And it gives me an error 08. So let's see what happens if we yeah. If we go full distance, oh. There we go. Zoom out a little. Okay, enter. See what happens. And error 08. And error 08 means that our encoder is not functioning, of course. And according to our maintenance manual, it's going to say that we have to start with replacing the encoder and see if the problem is fixed. And if that doesn't help, replace the main PCB to see whether the problem is fixed. It doesn't say anything about cleaning, but believe me, that's the first test that you want to try. So we've done about all the tests that we can do. Ink IC is pointless at this point. So let's go out here. Okay, and let's switch off the printer. Okay, zoom out. So I'm going to put my camera back in its original position. Alright. Okay, so there you have it. To wrap things up, let me first check if it's properly framed. So to round things up, scan motor, okay. Feed motor, okay. Heaters, both pre and print heaters, okay. Fan bar, okay. Calf tops, most likely okay. Wiper, okay. Dampers, not okay. Print heads, not okay. Encoder, not okay. And ink delivery, absolutely not okay. So in the next session, we will have a look on these parts that need some replacing. Okay. Oh, and I forgot the pumps. The pumps are functioning correctly as far as we can access. But once that we have ink flow back into the printer, we will be having a more clear understanding of whether the pumps are functioning correctly as well. And then visually, okay, we're going to have to clean it up a little bit and missing some screws, but that's the least of our worries. Okay, so let's have time for Q&A. So I'll switch the camera.
All right, I'm gonna activate the chat window, enable for participants, and chat is open. So, any questions about what we've done today? Any questions about what we're going to do in the next few months? You can use the chat window and ask those questions. As you could see, it's a printer with some issues. In the sum up, I gave you which parts are most likely to be or to need replacement. Like the print heads, anything actually that has electronics and motors are okay, except does have some dirt on it. I could see that, so I definitely will start with replacing that one in the next session. So any questions, please feel free to ask them, and I'll be happy to answer them. Not a lot of questions. So what we learned or can learn from this session is that any printer, whether it's our specific Memaki or a Mutor, this thing called maintenance mode or service mode, which allows you to run or perform a series of tests, and that's going to tell you a great deal about the condition of your printer. Of course, whether the ink in tubes and heads and stuff like that is completely dry, that's something that we can see directly visually by inspecting the printer. But other stuff like heaters and especially anything that has to do with encoders and motors, you really need to perform a test to see if that is still functioning, yes or no. So also it tells you a little bit about how a printer like this is functioning. It's a fairly simple principle that is used to have a wide format printer do its job. And it tells you a little bit about what to look for when you would like to either do what we did, purchase an old printer and bring it back to life, or if you have issues with your own printer. Well, that's actually a good question, John or Charles. I think when I touched it with a glove, I could clearly see that it was ink. It was not something like the other thing. What could have happened was that some sort of aggressive liquid was in contact with this roller, and it's a roller itself that disintegrates. But that was not the case. I could clearly see when I touched it, it was ink. So In the next session, we will definitely, because the next session, which is 23rd of February, I believe, is about anything that has to do with the moving, with the movement inside your printer. So that's encoder, gears, belts, motors, rollers. So we'll look at the roller, and we will show you how to replace a roller, and we will inspect that particular roller more in detail, but it was not the scope of this session. So, but I could definitely see that it was ink I had on my glove, and actually you could already see it on the media. I could even wipe it away from the media if you noticed. So that tells me that the roller is dirty and there's nothing else wrong with the roller. And I think actually what happened is that the media I loaded might have still some ink on it that wasn't dried. So that's a possibility as well. And if it would disintegrate and you touch the roller, even with a glove, you would feel the textured surface. And this surface of this particular roller was still smooth. So that's how it tells me. Good. Any other questions?